How is it going, guys? It's Nutshell here, and today I'm going to showcase how you can make Reserve profitable every single run, and not just a little bit, but you can earn millions of rubles every single run that you do make on Reserve, albeit without the boss event that was recently on. Of course, it's much easier, and we're going to showcase a full run in today's video, so let's just jump straight into that full run. Of course, before I showcase the run though, I want to ask you to subscribe down below if you haven't already and you want to see more Escape From Tarkov content. I am amazed with the support that we've had so far on the channel, and I couldn't be happier. But if you want to see more Tarkov, then make sure that you do subscribe down below. Now then, the run that we do have is, of course, a double run whereby we are primarily looking to get towards the two marked rooms that are very, very close to each other within Reserve. There is another one, it's RBVO, which is on the other side of the map, nearby where we are now, but in order to go there, I would put myself really far away from where I was trying to task on Reserve at the time, as well as also you've then got to run literally in the entire opposite direction to where you were going, so that's kind of why we didn't hit up RBVO. But if you do spawn over that side, you can hit up that marked room, which is the third marked room on this map, and it is worth having all three keys. They're super cheap, and you should be able to actually pick them up for probably the same price as it would cost for an abandoned marked room key for streets. And although, you know, it is not as good of a marked room in each individual one, when you combine them all together, you can certainly get yourself your money back almost every single raid, at least one of the cards. And so from the so far raids that we've done on this map doing this exact method, whereby we hit up both of the marked room keys near the barracks, we've been able to pick up at least a green key card, a ton of weapons and a Bitcoin, as well as a couple of other items. And we'll be doing a full rundown, I guess, on the items that we received from the marked room. But so far it's looking very, very good for these rooms. They seem to be really giving out, and they're very, very cheap in comparison to some of the other cards. But in all fairness, there's a couple things that you need to know about Reserve when it comes to unlocking both of these doors. The first one is really easy, and you can pretty much do it every single time, and it also seems to be the one that seems to be giving out the most cards, at least from what I've experienced so far of opening them, which is the BK, which is essentially one underneath the dorms or the barracks, which is the second building, which is directly in front of us, not the near side one that's kind of in line or parallel to us right now, but it's the far building. And once you get there, it's basically guaranteed money, which is what you really want when you're trying to complete some of these tasks. Now, in order to get there safely when it comes to this map and generally pathing your way around, you want to be taking the outskirts of the map. Through the center of it, you have things like raiders that can spawn near the train station. You have PMCs that spawn near the train station. Where you saw me a second ago looking around the corner, there can be PMCs there. There can also be scavs. There's also a spawns of PMCs that go down just to the left of where we are now, down by the building. And so you have to be quite careful when moving around this map, because you can get lasered quite easily. But as soon as you learn the spawns, it's pretty easy to kind of get away with and have a good raid either way. Now, this particular run, we were looking to complete the Bunker Part 2 quest, which requires you to go through all of the different buildings, the white pawn, black pawn, and all of that sort of thing. So going through and basically picking up the king and the queen and what have you, bishops, you're able to actually go through and kind of locate those in the underground bunker itself, and it seems to be quite easy to do that. Now, you can see me here. This is what I would call kind of building one, and building one is one that you can have a couple of keys, and it is useful to have those keys, but primarily I'm not really going to be looting in here. There's ones that are upstairs and they have some metal gates. I think the RB orb keys, which you can use to open up the gates, and they do spawn weapon parts, that sort of thing. But when we're coming to this run in particular, we're in it about speed, efficiency, and getting the highest valuable loot for the smallest amount of time, which of course looting up containers and opening up like items from cases and stuff like that, it can yield good results. You can can find things that are expensive, but at the end of the day, it's sacrificing your time, at which point you could have been in another raid, you could have been going through, you could have picked up another key card, you could have opened up another dorm's marked room key or whatever on a different map. You know, it's all of this sort of thing. So if you're trying to make it efficient and play as a kind of more efficient player, then that's what you can do. But of course, not everyone wants to play as efficiently, and you can open up those keys, which is why I thought I'd mention it. Now, this is the location of the first marked room key. So it's down the stairs to where we are now. I'm looking for some scavs because we need to eliminate scavs that are surrounding this area, and just for another quest. And we're primarily on the Kappa grind. This room right here, this is the first key. This is the RBBK key, and this seemed to be really giving out quite well. Now, in this run, didn't have the best luck when it came to the key cards, and it is what it is, I guess, when it comes to opening up marked room keys, whether that be dorms or abandoned factories. Sometimes you just don't get key cards. We're checking the table. This can spawn key cards. It also spawns rare spawns. There is also a ton of key card locations on the floor, so you can pick up at least 2 or 3 in one room, which is possible. So far we've picked up a green from this room in particular, and we've also picked up some black cards as well, and yeah, it's been really useful to actually do, and we've certainly made a lot of money. And even given the kind of standard spawns that you can get, the weapons and the components and all sorts that you can get from this room, it is just worth it 100% of the time. I mean, considering that you're making about 600k just off of the random spawns, not taken into account if you get things like a Bitcoin or you get extra kind of items that are rare valuable items apart from the key cards, this room is 100% worth it. And that's why I wanted to show it to you guys, because they are so cheap right now in comparison to a lot of the other key cards that you have available to you. This is where we find the Bitcoin, so you can see on the floor there's another rare spawn, could be a key card. This was a Bitcoin, not going to complain because it's about 1 million and makes up about a sixth of the cost of the actual key, or a seventh of the cost of the actual key, which is pretty decent, and it's super easy to extract from here. If, for example, you only want to hit up this room and you're not interested in potentially getting taken out by raiders, which is where the next location is, you can use the Red Rebel with a paracord and using body armor that isn't actually body armor, and so you want to essentially have it as a rig or like a plate carrier. So you've got armor, but you're also, you know, you can extract via Red Rebel at the dome at the top of the building. This is a run that you can do if you're purely after just this singular room. But considering how close this room and the other marked room is, then yeah, of course we're going to try and do both. And so from this room, well, I'll catch you when we start moving out. I'm just having a look around, see if we can see any other spawns, and I'll join you when we start moving out. So we've made it out of the room, and we are going to make our way down into the bunker. And from here, it's super simple. It's literally down the road. You can see we completed one of the tasks there, which is one of the doors. And once you've got through a lot of these doors and everything and running around, it's much quicker than the run that we did, because I had to go round every single one of those hermetic doors, and they're located variously around all of the map. I'm stopping here. This is where PMCs and raiders can spawn, in that room right there. Luckily it was just a scav, which is fine, and we can take him out pretty easily. I load a grenade, we're just going to throw it and hope that someone voice lines in there, which I don't hear any voice lines, but trust me, there is often raiders and PMCs down in this location. So there's a lot of fighting that goes on. They will push you as well if they're raiders. They do come towards you, but that makes it very simple. Just aim up and line up for that headshot when they come around the corners. And it's super simple to take out the raiders, to be honest. Yes, if you push into a room and you didn't know that they were there, it can be bad. But that's kind of why you quick peek corners, or just go round slightly, do a little circle strafing round a corner like I'm doing here, to just see if you can find anyone. And then, of course, once you've not heard any voice lines and once you've kind of cleared the room, you can move in. And the point at which the actual next marked room key, it is directly in front down here. So it's very close to the D2 power where you have to turn it on. There's two options. You can, from here, go back up to the building, and you can go up to the actual radar tower and extract via the Red Rebel, or you can go down into D2. Going down into D2 is super safe on PVE because there's no little rats or anything that I've noticed so far that spawned down in D2, but obviously check your corners as you're going through. This is the marked room key. So this is RBPKPM, and you can see there is one of the key card spawns on top of the television. So of course we get a 11SR key, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Of course, there's a rare spawn on the floor, which could have been a key card. And then there's 3 kind of key rare spawns in the center of this room, plus a couple others that just didn't end up spawning in this one. But we managed to pick up 2 dog tag cases, an intel case, and this key very cheap as well. So it is definitely one of those keys where if you combine them all together, really can make you millions of rubles very easily. And of course, the best thing about this is a lot of the tasks and things that you're doing on this map require you to go round the map and go through the bunker. So why not hit these rooms up and get an extra, you know, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil, maybe even potentially 10 million in one raid if you get a good key card, or maybe even more if you get multiple key cards per room. And that's kind of what I did when I was running reserve a lot in order to complete some of the tasks. We are now kind of running out of the reserve tasks. We've only got a few more left to do, and we'll kind of make our way through all of those as we go, and really just, yeah, hopefully get all of the tasks done for Kappa, and then we'll move on to do everything else that we need to do, things like Lightkeeper, and get basically all of the tasks done. And of course, I'll do a full guide on Lightkeeper when we do manage to get here. You can check out the Kappa guide as well. So if you're interested in finding out an easier way to kind of keep track of what you need to do and make it a lot more efficient when you are going for Kappa, then you can check out the videos that we've got on the channel. So once you are done from here, you can just exit out. This is the kind of office area. There's a lot of tasks that require you to come down here to pick up files and that sort of thing. And it's really quite easy to get down here. The real problem is when raiders and PMCs both push you at the same time without fighting each other, which, as you've probably seen if you watch the kind of AI issues video that we've done recently, yeah, that is definitely annoying when they do work together and there's like 7 people all coming at you at the same time, alongside scavs at the same time as well. So anyway, moving on with this video, we need to get out of this area once we've completed our tasks. Now, we completed our task, we went round and did all of that, but I'll skip it for you. And essentially, once you have kind of made your way through and you've got all of the areas that you need to go, you can make your way up the kind of across the way. You need to turn on the power, remember, which is just outside the office. You just run to the far end before going up the stairs or anything like that. You just run directly up, as you can see here, and just making sure that once you turned on the power, you're checking for raiders because they can spawn, especially on PvP when they do spawn down there. And then you come down this staircase right here, and then this is D2. Of course, D2, as I currently understand, it doesn't have any PMC spawns or any raiders or anything like that down here as it currently stands. Maybe that will change in the future. Maybe PMCs will roam down here. We don't quite know. But of course, if you're watching in the future, you might want to double check this as you're coming around the corners and just making sure that you quick peek and that sort of thing. I always do it anyway, even when I am kind of pretty confident that they don't spawn down here. Just make sure that you are just checking. And so that's exactly what we do, making sure to hear for footsteps if anyone's down there. And then we run into D2, and because we turned on the power, it is super simple to actually get down. No one actually spawns down in the D2 room, to my knowledge. And then once we're here, we can just loot up any of the duffel bags or the 2 jackets that do spawn next to the actual entrance into the D2 kind of gate area where you can actually leave. And we're just double checking all of these kind of alcovey areas just to make sure that we don't get ratted or something by a little AI. And then, yeah, just looting up the duffel and the 2 extra bits for a little bit extra loot, and you can do that now in the actual D2 platform area before you come down into the actual room here. You can loot up a safe which is kind of over by the mechanical generator area, and it's in the back room of that. I don't usually go there because I'm just simply after just quick and exits and just getting out as quickly as possible. So we can go on to the next task and that sort of thing. But if you are purely after the loot and you're only running this run just to make money, then this is definitely a way to go. And of course you can get quite a bit of XP from taking out the raiders. You push the button and now you just wait for the door to open. And once you've done that, you just run in and there you go, you're extracted. Of course, some of the tasks, things like mechanic, for like some of the door quests, this is kind of what you need to do, turning on the power and then coming down into D2. It's super simple and it's worked really well for me to make a ton of money as well as actually get my tasks done at the same time. So I thought I'd share it with you, and of course if you like the video, make sure that you do like it and let me know what you would like me to showcase next. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.